watch it on our own to see the chatter, but
Yeah.
we can't. And they see now we are live. That's just how it works. Hello, Jennifer. Welcome, welcome.
Welcome,
Look at all of
Linda.
you. You
Welcome,
got
Linda.
the memo.
They've
Naomi,
all been
Kristen.
anxiously waiting
Oh,
to
that's so
join.
sweet. Linda,
Yes,
checking
it
the ice
excites
out
me.
there in
Yeah,
Calgary. Thank
Linda,
you
I'm
so
so
much.
sorry that you're in Calgary where it's so yucky today.
It's cold. It's
And if
cold.
you look behind me, you'll see a different background because I'm in Penticton, BC, where it's only just right at freezing, which I'll use. So it's generic if I say it's right at the point of freezing. So that
Hey,
I don't have
everybody
to
knows
go
what temperature
between
that is, no matter
imperial.
what you calculate.
Exactly. So it's much more pleasant than Calgary, I have to
And
say.
can we
But I'll
take a
be back
moment?
tomorrow.
Can we take a moment to look ahead to tomorrow where it is already spring? Good morning, Jennifer.
Yes.
Nevada City. Well, there you are. I didn't know
Welcome,
that, Kristen.
Kristen.
How about that? A fellow Californian. All right. So
Mm.
here we are today on a Sunday here in California. Again, it's already Monday in Australia. Wishing you all of you, first of all, for all who celebrate. Good morning, Mary in New York. Hello, Erin. Lovely to see you join us. So, on this, for all who celebrate Thanksgiving weekend here in the lower country in the Americas of this. All right, never mind about all that. Here in the U.S., we are enjoying family, enjoying traditional foods. Speaking of traditional foods, welcome Lori Olson White, and goblets. And thinking about our families and our collections and what we passed down. And all of a sudden, we thought back to something that was there on so many of our collections is those funny postcards. So how did this come up? Tell me. Talk to me about postcards, Kathy.
Well, I think the what inspired me to do a session on them is we talked briefly about them and I'm going to look at my notes just so I don't say the wrong one. We looked at the history of postcards in Kathy's Corner, Exploring Our Mystery Photos Part 3. And we talked briefly about them and because everybody has them. And then I was on reading something in another group that I belong to, and somebody said, somebody has all these pictures that look like a postcard on the back and said, those things aren't real, are they? Are they anything important? And or can I just toss them? And of course, I just about jumped out of my chair at the thought of someone tossing an old photo postcard. So I thought maybe we should talk about postcards. And then with this being Thanksgiving weekend in the US, and if anyone who's planned ahead for December, the third week in December, the Thursday where we'd have Kathy's Corner, it's like, oh, wait, it's Christmas Day. And I'm kind of busy that day. So I think Barbara's busy. So we thought, well, maybe everybody else is busy too. So we thought, special Kathy's Corner. We'll combine November and December and do one on the 4th of December, which comes up this week, and we'll talk about postcards. And then I thought, well, some people messaged me. Paula Collins sent me a note. She said, I have a ton of postcards. So, would love, when you talk about postcards, let's talk. And then I heard from Dr. Mary Marshall that she had a very unique postcard story. So I thought, well, let's do that for Projectkin on December. It'll be a little lighter than usual. We'll just listen to stories about postcards and in the same time hear about what to do with. Actually, today I'm going to tell you what to do with the postcards. And so we have lots of time just for stories on Thursday.
I'm so excited about this. And in fact, in digging around, I found a postcard of my own I've been thinking about for a post, thinking about all those wonderful writers that we have here from St. Louis. I found a postcard from the 1904 St. Louis World Exposition. And it was my grandmother, her sister, my grand aunt sitting on a camel. There's like so many questions.
So many questions.
So many questions. But that's a perfect example of one of your photo postcards.
Yeah.
And photo postcards eke their way into our collections. They're not like these three little pigs. They are different. There's certain information that we have from postcards like these, but our photo postcards and even the postcards that have something written on them, they are treasures. So how would I deal with that? How would I organize them?
I sort of thought, I was thinking about it. I thought, well, there's kind of three categories. There's the photo postcards with the pictures on them. And when we do the session, either, I don't know if it's today, when we do Thursday session, I linked you to a bunch of, I provided Barbara with a bunch of links to share to the history of the development of postcards. Some of them started back in the 1800s. So these are valuable pieces of history. And so I thought that's my first group, are the ones that have photos on them, because they're actually photos of people most often, or homes. We've got some of homes, and they're actually, that was a method of sending information, or as opposed to a letter, because the postage used to be cheaper on a postcard. I checked now, it isn't, but life
It is in the
changes.
US. It
Oh,
is
is
the
it
US.
not? Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, that's good. Somewhere anyway. But a lot of people sent postcards instead of letters because it was a little cheaper to send, and it was a way to send pictures, which we didn't take them down to the
Having a
little kiosk
wonderful
and,
time. Wish you were
yeah, we're
here.
here.
Yeah.
And also, you didn't have the ability, when you didn't develop your pictures in the 1900s at the kiosk down the street and said, oh, give me 3 sets so I can send them to grandma. So the photo postcards I would treat like a photo, just the same as any old photo. And I would digitize them, preserve the front and the back, because a lot of them have writing on them. And even if they don't, I would just preserve them like a photo, store them in archival sleeves.
Date.
The date.
The
Yeah,
detail
if
you would
there is a
never
stamp
expect.
on it, and there will be, you could find dates that way. Also, if there's no stamp on it, if it's one without a stamp, you could also, and I'm linked to that article, you could also date it by the symbols on the older postcards. There were symbols.
Mhm.
It wasn't just put a stamp here. There were all kinds of little symbols in them that can help you date a postcard. So I would treat those just like any other photo and consider those to be part of my photo legacy, because there's so few of them. The second category I titled Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, or scenic locations with writing from someone's trip, or the here we are, wish you were here. Those type of postcards where there's writing on the back, and obviously someone sent it and it's a story. And I looked at that with a few questions. I'm sorry, my computer is at my side today. Um, with 3 questions. What what information is in the writing? Like, what did they say? Does it add to the story that you're telling of that person, or was it your trip? Was it a significant trip? Is there another story behind the postcard, like your aunt riding a camel? Lots of story there. I would digitize them. Um, if it's any of those things above, I would digitize it and keep it with the trip. Keep them together with, if you've got photos of the trip, and or if it's from a specific person, I would keep it with that person. Like if it was a relative who sent you postcards, not a trip you took, then I would include that as part of that person's legacy, because I love to have samples of my ancestors' writing, or even my grandparents, or even my mom's writing, and that will be on the back of those postcards. So my third category is postcards that just have nothing on them. Uh, they're just a picture, like the Three Little Pigs, or their scenery, or um, just something. Yeah, there's something in
A
scenery.
hotel.
So a hotel. So I look at them are those great photos of the location you visited, and your photos aren't as good, because they probably won't be.
Mhm.
Uh, is this add to your travel log? Yeah. Did you take a plane trip? You probably don't have an outside picture of the airplane. So does this add to your story about your trip by adding some more photos to it that then you can describe that goes with that? Are they part of a collection that's important? And I know we've got a couple guests joining us that have collections they've inherited of postcards from an ancestor. And that makes them, even though they've got no writing on them, they may tell a whole different story about someone's hobbies or what somebody did. Are they of
Mhm.
historic value?
Mm.
How old are they? Do they tell the story of something that's no longer there, or an event that like the St. Louis World's Fair? I've got a couple from Expo 67 in Montreal. Well, most of that's gone now. So there aren't, and my photos from then, 1967, my photos are horrible. But so the postcards tell the story and show what it was like back then. And are they important to you? do they speak to you? Are there a story for you? And that's where I don't Marie Kondo my things. It's I look at a postcard of certain things and go, yeah, I love that. It's a great picture. It's like photos. If you collect old photos that aren't of people you know, but we won't digress into that. So if you've any of those above are true, um, digitize them like you would if there's no writing on the back. And so you may want to digitize the back because sometimes the back will tell you what the picture is of. And so you could just sort of use that information to part of your story. Um, so digitize them. If they're part of a trip you took, keep them with that trip as better photos than you have. If they're part of a collection, that's a beautiful one.
Well,
Keep them together. Oh, it's got a story and a stamp.
a
If
story and
it's
a
not
stamp.
something you want to keep, look for collectors. As I was looking up some information on postcards, there's tons of people who collect postcards. Donate them to a thrift store. Don't just throw them in the garbage, and they probably will get a reuse. So that's sort of what I divided everything up into, and to talk all about our postcard stories.
I was
Oh,
also
Marcy
thinking
just said
about,
her photos from 67 are awful too.
as you were talking, and forgive my distraction, I was looking at my own little box of postcards. And this, for example, is an example of a little, it's really a note
Yeah,
card more than anything
yeah.
else. And what's to me so memorable about this is that my Aunt Dorothy, from whom I think this card was written, um, uh, always was looking for this particular artist that I know she would collect their note cards from a small town in Michigan. And this not only has her handwriting, but it also has my address at the time, which I had forgotten.
Yeah.
Addresses are just gold, because
Yeah.
once you have that address, I mean, I know it was a PO box. I don't remember the PO box. And now that I look at the PO box, I realize, oh, I've used that as a password for years.
Oops.
Just
Yeah.
not a major password, but a pin
Yeah.
code. Anyway, and Lori Olson White pops in here with check to see if the names on the postcard are on Ancestry or Family Search,
Yeah.
and
Great
offer
point.
them the postcard. Gosh, what a great idea. And I've started doing that whenever I have meeting with relatives over the weekend,
Mhm.
and they tell you about so and so, like, note to self. Look them
Yes.
up. It's practically,
Yeah.
and what is Family Search but LinkedIn for those who are gone?
Yep. Oh, that's a good. I
Yeah.
like that. Yes.
I may use that.
That's a great
And
idea, Lori. That's a really good point that, and too, Barbara, the addresses, because that is, like you say, gold for tracking down where people may have been living at the time.
right,
And
right.
we have somebody who's going to come and tell a story on Thursday about a postcard that she's been working on tracking down that we don't know the person, but it was in a town near where Linda and I live, but the town is sort of not really there anymore. So Linda's got some good story to tell about her looking into that postcard. And there's so many stories, and it's part of history that you're looking at there, and particularly the old photo ones seem to be like those are a picture. And I remember Lori. Lori Olson White and I did we did a little Projectkin live when Barbara was busy one day, and Lori mentioned a story. I'm going to tell your story, Lori, because you don't get. I can't let you talk on this thing this time. She said she found a postcard, and it was a person in a casket. And so she said, "This is very odd. What is what is this?" And then did a little research, and it was partly how people let someone know they passed away. And so that was because people were at great distances.
It's
And
a
so,
variation on having a great time. Wish you were here.
yeah, the variation of that. But and this was again, an older photo postcard, but it was one of the easiest and cheapest ways to notify people that someone had
Right.
passed.
Right. Actually, the whole category of photos of the dead is a thing.
Hmm.
And there are some wonderful that maybe one of you can remember at the moment, but there is a great hashtag to follow on like Instagram or and really all kinds of
Oh.
platforms for can't remember what it's called, but uh, death masks essentially. It's a
Hmm.
variation on that, and they would literally, prop up Grandpa and take the picture, so that
Yeah.
they have him and he's not moving. Um,
Hmm.
and yeah. And everyone used to. That's a great point to get us out of this category. Thank you,
Yeah.
Lori.
Birth
That little
announcements too.
lifeline there.
Yeah.
Yeah, sending out postcards to as birth announcements, and we kind of
Yeah.
even known to do that these days.
Hmm.
And or postcards with closed caskets. Um, yeah, exactly. Each of these kinds of things as ways to combine, in the days where you had calling cards, where a calling
Yeah.
card was, you would knock at the door and, the doorman um, would answer the door, and then you place your card on their
Hmm.
little silver tray, and they'd go back to the mistress
Yeah.
and she'd say, it is Dr. Blah, blah, blah. Come on into the parlor.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just use my imagination from visiting places.
Yes.
But actually, that reminds me, I do now have my collection of many of which were when I've mentioned my misspent youth traveling. But many of them are my own personal postcards from travel
Hmm.
as a teen in many parts of the world. And I thought I was very cool by collecting my art postcards from museums. This one, of course, that's right. I love this a great
Yeah.
Matisse at the Honolulu Art Academy. Um, but if you'd like and haven't already, I would be delighted to include you and send you one of my postcards. I have a
Oh.
members map that I have for a long time made an offer to all new members. You have to read my welcome email, and I come on, who does that? So in my welcome email, I invite all new members to Projectkin to sign up, and I will send you a postcard if you want, and B, if you want, put you on the map, put you on our members map, and that's
Mm.
because we're all over the planet, and it's kind of fun to as we get to know each other to know where we are. I didn't know, for example, Kristen, you're right here in California. And it was kind of you to reveal a face from what had been a
Mm.
logo. Each of us kind of gets comfortable with a community as we get to know each other.
Mhm.
And I never ever share on a map what someone's actual address is, to be clear, but I share the city, city state kind of level. And so we can find each other. And this was an idea that came from Jennifer Jones in
Yes.
Victoria, Australia, who shared that she wasn't quite sure what time zone, some of our central states are in.
Mhm.
Who's in mountain, who's in
Yeah.
central. It's hard to keep up. And so she, a little help, please. I thought it was a great idea. And
Brilliant.
it is interesting how we do get to know each other as we connect these multiple aspects to it. And I think
Mhm.
down, in days of uh, times past, there are different
Mhm.
kinds of symbols that, we get from the postcards
Yes.
that we send each other.
Mhm.
And I think today, in a world where two packets and a picture and it's across the planet, there's something really wonderful about feeling a postcard that your friend touched,
Yeah.
seeing the handwriting, seeing the stamps. That's why I know how much it costs to send stamps
Yes.
anywhere,
Because you still
because I
do
do
it.
send them. I
Yes.
send postcards. I love sending postcards. It's just oh, that's not, oh, I have a few New Yorker sends out these.
Yes,
Do we have,
amazing how international the community is. Very true. Do we have anything
and we
else
learn
coming up
so
in
much from each other.
December, Barbara?
Do we
We have
have
some we
anything
have
else
something
come
else coming in December, don't we?
let me think. Let me think. Well, you did mention a
Yeah.
holiday. There's
Yeah.
that. Um,
I think we have do we have something Jennifer Jones is doing
we
in
do. We
December? We're
do.
not quite done for December yet, are we?
We're not quite done for December, but before I get to the rest the following
Okay.
week, let me start on this week alone. And that is
Sure.
that on Tuesday, Today is Sunday. That's 2 days from here or 2 days
Mhm.
from you for Australia. New Zealand, welcome. I saw you come in from New Zealand, Jane. Um, we have our mission genealogy on Tuesday. This is this
Oh.
marathon day. We do 2 events that combine round tables and office hours to help each other out, both with our genealogy, family history, storytelling, inventions, craziness, and sometimes a little therapy. Twice first to our Atlantic friendly hours, and in the afternoon, California time, to our Pacific friendly hours, so that we can just connect everybody. And it's always become a fun thing. So that's on Tuesday. Then, of course, this Thursday we have Postcard-orama with
Mm.
our special program, which, by the way, insider tip, I will not be in the home planet. I am visiting New York for a very special event where I'm looking forward on the following week to seeing Dr. Mary Marshall for a cup of tea, that long promised cup of tea. Another
Ooh.
reason to be in touch with where everybody is. And then next week, we do indeed have a very special doubleheader program planned for Thursday for Speakers Corner with Jennifer Jones, with a preview on a week from, I guess that's a week from today. I don't have my calendar in front of me to keep up with the what's coming when. What was, I just saw that pop by. Lisa, you're in New York City too?
Ooh. Wow.
We'll talk.
A really great
It's
comment
a
went
big
by
city, I
Barbara.
hear.
Yeah, it is. A very good comment went by Barbara, and of course I can't see it anymore. Before Dr. Mary and Lisa's comment, their name disappeared before I couldn't see their name, but whoever said it was brilliant about the postcards and sending something like a postcard being permanent, as opposed to emails and which just
That was
disappear into
Lori.
nowhere. That was Lori.
Yeah,
Of course it was
that
Lori.
was
Yes.
Lori who says, plus there's permanence and history as opposed to the temporary nature of emails, chats, and everything online.
Thank you.
I would
Yes.
question the everything online. I still debate paper is not anywhere near as permanent as you think it is, but that and online can be made permanent. But I digress.
Yeah.
The combination of media are so powerful, and I think that's
Mhm.
what's really so compelling.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we go with postcards, because it's
Mhm.
suddenly, quickly, and easily as an email chat lets us connect with each other in a very
Yeah.
human way. We lost a dear friend a couple of years ago, way too young to a cancer, very unexpectedly. And when we all gathered together as friends to celebrate her life, over and over and over again, friends kept talking about how she would make the effort to send a letter, to send a card,
Mhm.
to send a note, and is always staying in touch on paper. And I felt that sense of pang for not having done more to stay in touch, and told myself I would make more of that effort.
Mhm.
My
Yeah.
promise to her was to make that effort to do that. And I think it is that combination that just feels so much more
Mhm.
human.
Yeah.
Um, if it's permanent enough, even if it's passed on to thrift shops and not thrown away,
Mhm.
it really is ways to keep that connection going. Just like scanning and cards is a way to make sure that the weakness of paper doesn't risk them being lost
Yeah.
because they are digitized and
Mhm.
protected and preserved. We've got so much going on, Kathy.
I know it. I'm really looking forward to Thursday. I just can't wait to hear the stories that the people we've lined up to speak, who I thank very much for volunteering to talk about their postcards and in their collection. I think it'll be very fascinating because if you start digging into postcards, that could become your next lifelong search. I was going, yes, because I was amazed at just a little bit. And so I did put it together a resource list, which I'm not sure Barbara has it. I don't if she could attach it to this, because on Thursday I'm not going to talk about anything like I did today about. We're not going to talk about the history. We're just going to let the people tell stories. It's a storytelling event of tell the stories about your postcards. You will get a good glimpse into some history by those stories that were coming up for you. But I think it's just a chance to explore this different medium that is in our collections and something worthy of preserving too. And I think that to me becomes very important.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Kathy.
You're
You have
welcome.
always been this fabulous bridge for us. Many of us wannabe genealogists, family historians, those trying to get our own stories told. And I like to celebrate that because I think
Mhm.
what
Yeah.
matters is the effort. What matters is the openness to learn and the openness to bring more of this together, capturing it and preserving it. And
Mhm.
you bring us that bridge of that physical world of both print photos, these materials of the material
Mhm.
world like postcards and even letters, as we've discussed, and how to bring context to all of that. So,
Yes.
again, thank you so much. We'll see you all on Thursday if you can
See you
make it. And if
Thursday.
not, watch the recording. And again, to all of you who have been watching this, stay tuned for the recording. It takes me, give me an hour or two, and I will update this recording with links and whatnot, full of the details that Kathy has shared with me. And thank you so much, Kathy, for making the effort to join us from where are you again?
I'm in Penticton, British Columbia, on the south end of Lake Okanagan. So you should, if you don't know where that is, or see, you should Google it because it's one of the most beautiful areas. I hesitate to say in the world, but it's pretty nice here. It's a little different right now because it is winter. I think by November 30th we can say winter, but it's a beautiful part of Canada, and that I think everyone should visit here too. So, but I'm very, and I've had a lovely time. I'm visiting with my aunt who will be a young 89 on Tuesday. And we have been, of course, looking through her she has close to 100 scrapbooks of family history. So you can know that I've just been in heaven for the last few days, hearing all about my family history. So, and I have been,
So
Barbara said, make a note of that. Make a note of
yeah.
that.
Yeah, you think?
Yes. So
Thank you. Thank you.
thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.
All righty. Bye bye now.
Bye bye.